Hi there, and thanks for tuning in to Wednesdays with Wit. I'm Whitney, and today we'll be discussing virtual icebreakers. First off, who doesn't love a good icebreaker? I know that I do. So I just had to put that out there. So as a leader, it is very important for you to build a relationship with your employees, but it's also equally important that you help foster a relationship amongst your colleagues. So employees to employees as well. A great way to do that is through icebreakers, and not just any type of icebreakers. Today we're talking about virtual icebreakers. Why? Because a lot of us are still working virtually, and they are a great way to kind of break that ice and build relationships. And I'm going to give you some key ways in which virtual icebreakers can add to your leadership as a leader. First, virtual icebreakers are a great way to get people talking. So oftentimes when we come to meetings, sometimes they're not sure what's going on. So some people are anxious, some people are running late, but it is a great time filler before we jump into whatever we are discussing at that particular meeting. So it gives people a chance to open up, kind of break that ice, like icebreaker, the word. But it gives them a chance to open up and get the conversation flowing. So maybe your meeting is early in the morning and people are kind of quiet during that time, but an icebreaker might be a way to kind of engage them in conversation that they won't be so shy or so quiet in the morning time. Or maybe it's the end of the day, that meeting, and they're like ready to go, but that icebreaker kind of relaxes you and sets the tone before you jump into that meeting. So what better way to do that than to get folks talking? Another thing that virtual icebreakers are able to do is they help colleagues get to know one another. So whether that is a new colleague to the team or whether that is someone who's been on the team for years, people evolve, right? They change, right? So people's interests, topics, ideas, things that they're watching, that's going to change over time as well. So when you have virtual icebreakers, it gives employees opportunities to learn about one another outside of work and whom they are as a person, aside from their work contributions or aside from what they produce while they are at work. It also gives you an opportunity to have exposure and access to worlds that you may not come across. That's something I really love about icebreakers, is that I get to learn about something else. When someone is sharing, I'm like, what? I haven't heard of that restaurant. What's the name of it? Or what is that called? I haven't seen that. I want to see that. So that's a great way to kind of share, learn about new worlds that you may or may not be a part of or that you may or may not be aware of. It's through those virtual icebreakers. And when people are sharing out, it also gives you a great opportunity to practice those active listening skills. So actually sitting, waiting your chance, listening to what people are saying so that you can take away what is important. How many times are we talking to individuals and we're thinking or trying to formulate what our response is going to be versus like just actively listening and hearing what they are saying so that they feel heard and feel seen? Icebreakers is a great way to do that. Having icebreakers is another great way to kind of keep the conversation going. So if you have employees that maybe are on the quieter side, or maybe you don't know as much about for whatever reason, or maybe they're new, once you hear them share something at that icebreaker, you can always bring it up again at a later date or a later time. And that could be a starting point for a conversation or a relationship to build and grow in the future. So saying, hey, you mentioned in our meeting that you do X, Y, and Z. Can you tell me more about that? People love to talk about themselves. So when you give them an opportunity to do so, they might just open up and you'll learn a lot more by listening. Icebreakers can also help foster a sense of belonging in the workplace as well. So research shows that the better we listen to someone who is sharing, the deeper we become connected to them and we feel that closeness and a bond. And as a leader, who doesn't want to create an environment where everyone feels like they belong and they feel like their work colleagues are like their work family? So yes, icebreakers help with that. So my advice to leaders is to don't hold back. Break out those icebreakers in your next meeting. If you've never used them before, that's okay. Just let your team know in your next meeting, hey, we'll be starting off today with an icebreaker and I expect everyone to share and I'll start first. At first, it might seem, if this is your first time ever using icebreakers, it might feel very forced or it might feel like, oh, this is awkward or maybe it's elementary. but keep working past that awkwardness. Keep trying it, because what will come to happen is that having icebreakers at the beginning of your meeting will become a meeting norm. So everyone will come to expect every meeting we're going to start off with an icebreaker. I got to be ready to share, got to get my ideas flowing. What are they going to come with today? Because they're curious of what question you're going to have today. Use the icebreakers to help build community amongst your colleagues and employees. It helps you get to know them and helps them get to know one another. And to go along with today's video, I have something for you. As a treat for today, I have another freebie for you. It's a freebie. I have created and I've gone and found different icebreakers that I've used from books, from the internet, all that good stuff, and I put it in a PowerPoint for you so that you have virtual icebreakers that you can use. And then I also shared some resources in this document for you to go and find more. And I'll be adding to this as time goes on, because I use virtual icebreakers in the meetings that I lead as well, so that I can try to get to know my colleagues. If you go to my website, www.wmstewartconsulting.com, click on the resource tab underneath this video, which is virtual icebreakers, you'll be able to see a downloadable file, a PowerPoint of nothing but virtual icebreakers for you to use and share, or you can give to your leader if you want to start using virtual icebreakers. Or maybe you are a teacher and you are working remotely. You can use it with them as well. Use it with students. These are great questions. Please edit them as you like or as you need. And again, it is free. It's my gift to you. Definitely want to keep on helping others. But let me know what you think about those icebreakers. You can drop me a comment or shoot me an email. I would greatly appreciate it. And then like, share, subscribe this video as well. And thank you for tuning in to Wednesdays with Wit. Until we meet again, take care.